Greetings, fellow citizens of Disneyland. Brickey here. Today's adventure, the best advice on getting inside of Avengers Campus. How do you guarantee that you get into this land that currently is incredibly difficult to get into because the sheer size of Avengers Campus is so small that once it fills up in the morning and people keep showing up throughout the entire day to ride web slingers, currently Disneyland just doesn't have the population problem in Avengers Campus figured out. Now in time, popularity will diminish, demand will diminish, and Disney will get wise to how to properly manage this small parcel of land that is in an incredible high demand. But before we get into my suggestion on the absolute best way to guarantee you get in there, I would like to apologize because in last week's guide to the land, I told you that there would be a mobile queue to get inside of Avengers Campus. In the fine print, it said you will go to the right to be added to a queue. I took that as you will go to the right where you'll be added to a virtual queue. They did this with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and it worked out perfectly. And when people kept saying, I think you're wrong, there's going to be a physical line, I kept replying, they are insane. They are crazy if they decide to do a real standby line. And they did it. And they were crazy. It nearly broke DCA on Friday. The line went from the edge of Avengers Campus all the way down the performance corridor, snaking around the area where we stand to watch World of Color, and sometimes even snaking back close to the beginning of Avengers Campus. Why, oh why, Disney, why didn't you do exactly what you did with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? Which in my mind thought, why wouldn't they do this? The Star Wars Galaxy's Edge rollout was almost flawless. You could show up to the park after they did the preview where you could book a 4-hour time slot for you and your friends. And when you got the 4-hour time slot, they put a bracelet on your wrist. And once your time expired, you were no longer allowed to ride any of the attractions or to do any shopping or buy any food. Therefore, you could be in the land, but you couldn't be using any of the land's amenities. And then once the 4-hour preview windows passed, you would go to the park, you would get on a mobile boarding group, and then you would just wait your turn to go into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And it worked flawlessly. The technology is there. Why, oh why would you have this long of a line of people flooding all throughout your park? Because Disney knows that a customer waiting in line is not a customer that is spending money. I was floored that they did this, and I can't even believe that they let it happen, especially during physical distancing, which Disneyland and the state of California has been so big on. It blew my mind that they did that. So I apologize that I got it wrong because I just thought it was a crazy move. And I was right. It was a crazy move. So the reason why you need this advice is because Avengers Campus is very, very small. It's the former Bugs Land. I measured it out. It's the same size as Fantasyland, Walt's Fantasyland. So ignore the Matterhorn, ignore Small World, ignore the 2 grottos on each side of Sleeping Beauty's castle. I'm talking about old school Fantasyland. The problem with the line, and the reason why it is so difficult to get in, is you have a long line of people that want to get into this incredibly small part of the park. But then you also have guests constantly showing up to ride web slingers. So therefore, if people do leave, are they leaving at a pace as quickly as the new folks showing up for web slingers? But let's talk about our friends over in line. Every person that shows up with a mobile boarding group for web slingers is essentially taking your spot in the line. So you're waiting for a very, very long time. When guests first show up and get into the land, they should be given a bracelet that times them out of the land after 2.5 to 3 hours. And when folks show up for their boarding group for web slingers, they should get a bracelet and have to leave 3-4 hours after they arrive. That would just be the fair way to manage the land so that everybody gets to take advantage of it. But as of right now, there's no rules in play. So this is the best advice I have for you to guarantee you get inside of Avengers Campus. Because I had many friends that showed up on Friday. They didn't get there at the break of dawn like I did. They showed up casually to get in and they didn't make it in. And they were upset. They were like, of course, we understand we didn't get to ride web slingers, but we'd like just to be able to walk through the new land or maybe enjoy some of the food. And no, a lot of people did not make it in. So this is my advice to you to guarantee that you can. This advice is only for a select amount of citizens of Disneyland, so pay attention to this part first before you dive into the advice. This advice is mainly and specifically for people that have bought a ticket to only experience Avengers Campus. AP days are behind us currently. Many of us are buying a la carte tickets to just go to the park to enjoy it for specific reasons. If your reason for buying a ticket is to go and experience Avengers Campus to see web slingers, this advice is perfect for you. So therefore, this isn't advice I'd give to somebody who's traveling in and has a specific time and window that they can go and enjoy the land. If you're traveling, you kind of got to just roll the dice. And it also helps to have been to Disneyland several times. This advice is mainly for locals, former APers, legacy annual pass holders that just really want to get in and experience Avengers Campus, but want to make sure that if they spend $150 on a tier 5 ticket, that they get exactly what they paid for. So my advice is this: don't worry about getting up early. Don't worry about rushing down to Disneyland, trying to find a place to park your car, getting dropped off by Uber. Simply stay at home. And at 7 a.m., try your attempt at getting a Web Slingers mobile boarding group. And if you don't get the mobile boarding group, then don't show up. Because the mobile boarding group is the way to guarantee yourself admission inside of the land. So therefore, you can skip all the hoopla, all the stress of making a very long, taxing day and do it from the comfort of your home. See if you get the boarding group, show up, and if you don't worry about it. Your Disneyland ticket will not expire. It'll still be good for another visit. And yeah, maybe you will burn a reservation and, debatable on how cool that is. But if you're spending money something and you want it, how cool is it to spend $150 and not to get it? These are non-AP days, and this is a single ticket play. So therefore, if you take this advice, I know it's weird to say, maybe I'm going to Disneyland on Tuesday, maybe I'm not. It all depends on what happens at 7 a.m. But friends, if you want to go experience Avengers Campus, if you want to go see Web Slingers, this is a way to assure yourself you have a ticket into the land and you can do everything that you're dropping that ticket for. Now, if you don't qualify for everything that I said earlier, if you're traveling in from out of town, if you have a multi-day ticket where you absolutely have to use it inside of a certain window because this visit will expire, then this is my advice for you. Get there as early as you can. One more time, as early as you can. Whatever you got to do to get there in the 5 a.m. range, if that's possible, get dropped off by Uber over on the harbor side. Do not deal with parking a car. Parking that time of morning, garages aren't open. Mickey and Friends isn't open. Show up without a vehicle, walk from a friend's house, whatever you got to do, but get there as early as you possibly can. So when the gates open up, you can be one of the first people to walk into Avengers Campus. That's the way you got to do it if you don't have those other luxuries. But for other folks, gamble from home, do it from the comfort of your own bed, and know that when you get up and shower and put your clothes on and play your Disneyland drive time mix, that you're guaranteed to get the good time that you spent your money for. And, earlier, as I said, apologies for getting it wrong last week. I just thought that there was no way Disney would ignore the technology that they already created to avoid situations like what happened on Friday. And apologies to Disneyland for this advice. I know this is probably not what you want some guests telling other guests. You got to keep in mind, folks don't have annual passes anymore. Back in the AP days, I didn't get it. So what? We'll be back next week. And some people's budgets, schedules, and reservation ability just doesn't make it possible to burn a ticket on something, to spend a hard-earned $150+ on something that you never get to experience, that you never even get to see. And by the way, as soon as you get that reservation, go ahead and book your food out for the day. Friends, I was there on opening day. This is everything that I learned thinking about it, hearing so many people in my personal life and through YouTube complaining about not being able to get in, stressed about how to make it happen. I've given this advice to a couple of friends and they thanked me later for not having to get up at 5 a.m. and go down to the park and just making it happen from their bedroom. Let me know what you think about this advice. Have you had a hard time getting in? Are you waiting for the hysteria to calm down before you go and experience the land for the first time? I enjoyed it. I thought Web Slingers was really, really great. It all blew my expectations. And at the end of the day, you got to keep in mind, it's a lot better than Bugs Land. Friends, until the next time I see you hanging out in Avengers Campus because you got it all wrapped up at 7 a.m. I'll see you back here on the channel for more Disneyland updates. Thank you so much to Club 1313 for making today's video possible. And if you enjoyed this advice, please give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think. I would always love to hear from you. I read all the comments and you help me shape future videos and future advice to come.